the exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access, top leagues and tournaments, and the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports.
Thank you, El, and welcome everybody to Boston, where it's already been a busy sports day. It continues with Game 1 of this playoff series between the Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins. These Bruins fans watch their team dominate the NHL regular season in historic fashion, but they know the playoffs are entirely different and what matters most.
The path to the Stanley Cup is never a straight line. It's a twisted 2-month gauntlet guided by a single hard truth. No one is ever fully prepared for what lies ahead. The expectations, the surprises, the successes, and the pain. Now is when the heart of a player, the soul of a team, is revealed. This will come down to who is willing to sacrifice everything for their teammates. Look around. We've moved beyond playing, beyond living in the moment. We are consumed by it. Hope is never a strategy. Our mantra is trust and belief. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs, where anything is possible. Anything.
Finally, we get to speak the words. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN, presented by Geico. The Florida Panthers hope anything is indeed possible in the playoffs because they are decided underdogs in this series against the Boston Bruins, who are ready to go. The building is alive. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, delighted to have you with us. Boston set the NHL single-season records in the regular season with 65 wins, 135 points, but they know that's no guarantee of success in the playoffs. All they have to do is look at the Florida Panthers, who won the President's Trophy last year and got knocked out in the second round. None of the last 7 President's Trophy winners have made it past the second round of the playoffs. I'm joined down at ice level by Ray Ferraro. And Ray, as we get ready for this series, anything's possible, but it looks like just about everywhere you look in this matchup, Boston has the decided edge.
There's not one area I can think of that the Panthers would have an edge in this series. It's the biggest mismatch on paper in the first round, Sean. The Bruins, of course, their tremendous season, and you can only look at the goaltenders as one example of what that mismatch looks like. The Bruins, the first time in history, a 40-win goalie and a 20-win goaltender. The Panthers will rely on who has become their savior to their season, a 30-year-old journeyman in Alex Lyon, who went 6-1-1 down the stretch. Lyon had played much of his career in the American Hockey League, and through the absence of Spencer Knight and the illness and injury to Sergei Bobrovsky, Lyon became their backbone, and he was able to lead them into the playoffs. A remarkable story.
Indeed it is. Without him, they wouldn't be here. The 43-point difference between these teams in the regular season, the largest in a playoff series since 1996. One thing these teams do have in common, superstars. Were it not for Connor McDavid, either David Pastrnak or Matthew Tkachuk could be the MVP.
And they do it quite differently. Pasternak's got that skill, that elusiveness, that variety to scoring. Tkachuk's with grit and around the front of the net. It's really hard to get a handle on David Pastrnak and his 61 goals because he scores from all over the ice, in close, on the power play. Nobody shoots the puck more in the NHL than David Pastrnak, over 400 shots on goal, but he can score in tight as well. Really difficult in one way to get him done, to get him shut down. Matthew Tkachuk, on the other hand, is a pretty easy guy to earmark. He does most of his damage from there, right in front of the net. He's got grit. He's got creativity from the hash marks down. Maybe one of the best players in the National Hockey League. When the Panthers wanted to remake their team in the offseason, they made a monster trade for Matthew Tkachuk. He has been aces for them, the leader of their team, both offensively and on the back end with the grit and strength that he plays with.
Bruins playing tonight without their captain, Patrice Bergeron, scratched due to illness. The opening faceoff from Boston in a moment. We're back in Boston. Here's public address announcer Jake Zimmer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise if you are able for the presentation of the colors for tonight's game. By the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Police Department Honor Guard. Please remain standing, remove your caps, and join us in the singing of the national anthem. Accompanied by Bruins organist Ron Poster, please welcome Todd Angeli.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
They had the Boston Marathon here today, a Red Sox home game, but these New England sports fans have been waiting for tonight for a long time. Starting goaltenders brought to you by Honda. Ray talked about Alex Lyon, the 30-year-old, for the most part, minor league player prior to this year, who helped save their season, making his first career playoff start. 9-4-2 this year. At the other end of the ice, Linus Ullmark, on his way to the Vezina Trophy, led the league in wins, goals against, and save percentage. His 40 wins tied the single-season Boston record set by Pete Peters, and he won 40 games in 49 starts, fastest to 40 wins in NHL history. Good buddies with his backup, Jeremy Swayman, who gives him one last pat for good luck. The officials are Francis Chiron and Jake Brink. The referees, Travis Garlowitz and Johnny Murray, are the linesmen, and we're underway. The fourth line out for Boston for Coach Jim Montgomery, perhaps trying to set a physical tone early on. Starting lineups are brought to you by GoDaddy. Florida still playing without Sam Bennett, who's their second line center. They're hoping to get him back at some point in this series. So Anton Lundell is the second line center. As you look at the Florida lineup, what a season Branton Montour's had on defense for Paul Maurice. In his first year in South Florida, his 25th behind an NHL bench. 817 career wins, are 6th all-time, second among active coaches, behind only New Jersey's Lindy Ruff. Dmitry Orlov off the face-off, had it deflect behind the net. Played along to the near wall and kept in by Charlie McAvoy, who pinched in for Boston. McAvoy again up high, pressured by Carter Verhaeghe. It goes past Gustav Forsling, and it's scooped up by Aaron Ekblad. And the Panthers able to clear. So the Boston Bruins playing without Patrice Bergeron. That means Pavel Zacha, ordinarily their second line left wing, will play center on the top line for Boston. And he's out there now between Marchand and DeBrusk. And that's Zacha, who got hit by the puck down low, knocked it out of the air. Orlov up high. There's a Bruin still down, and it's Marchand who's looking at the officials, wondering why there wasn't some sort of call.
Yeah, he got tied up with Brandon Montour in front of the net. Marchand felt he was high sticked. He slams the door on the way in, but an aggressive start as you'd expect.
Both teams come out with energy. David Krejci back in the lineup for Boston after he missed the last 6 of the regular season. At his own line, Derek Forbort. He also returns to the Boston lineup tonight. He hasn't played since the middle of March. 1 month out with a lower body injury. Takeaway at center ice. Here's Pastrnak. Pastrnak gets knocked down. There'll be a penalty as he tried to go through Aaron Ekblad. And there's a tripping call against Florida less than 2 minutes in.
There's always a frenetic energy to a start of a playoff series. We see it here in the first couple of minutes as Marchand takes the high stick in the mouth from Montour. There's no penalty there. But then the play goes up the ice and Anton Lundell clips David Pastrnak. He'll clearly be a target in this series to physically get into his space there. Pastrnak draws the penalty on Ekblad, and the Bruins were sour that Ekblad finished Pastrnak thrown on the ice into the boards. The Bruins power play gets the series first crack.
Paul Maurice said they need to stay out of the penalty box. Boston has an edge in special teams, although the penalty kill lately for Florida has been much improved. They've killed off the last 18 shorthand situations. It's been an up and down power play for Boston. Now 12th in the league, but better down the stretch. Pass deflected by Gus and sent down the ice. Gus Forsling out there killing the penalty.
So without Bergeron on this first group, David Krejci, who's done it for years, jumps into the middle.
Puck powered toward the net by Hampus Lindholm. And at the line, it's played the length of the ice. It's Eric Stahl out killing the penalty now. And his brother Mark is out there as one of their 2 defensemen with Montour. Losterina, the other penalty killer for Florida. Pastrnak turned it over up high, and Boston will have to regroup in the neutral zone. 1:07 left on the Bruins man advantage. Pastrnak lost it in the high slot. It's played ahead. Here's a shorthand opportunity. And defended by McAvoy. Alexander Barkov, all-time leading scorer in Florida Panthers history. Forsling shot it over the net and it went out of the rink. 47 seconds to go on the first power play of the game for Jim Montgomery's Boston Bruins. You'd have to think he's going to win the Jack Adams as Coach of the Year. All his team did was win the President's Trophy with a league record 65 victories. Of course, it was Andrew Brunette last year behind the bench for Florida. They had 122 points, but lost in the second round, and he lost his job. It triggered a change in style of play. They were a wide open team last year, much more leaning toward the defensive part of the hockey game this year under Paul Maurice. Tyler Bertuzzi banked it in, and then it shot the length of the ice by Radko Gudas. The crowd has settled in a little bit.
Yeah, this looks like an early series power play. Some mishandles by the Bruins.
Centering pass all alone, a point-blank chance for Orlov, denied by Lyon.
See, Florida's going to try and play with some bite, some grit. but they also need some goaltending. Bertuzzi takes the puck away from Gudas behind the net, and there's the first test, the first chance, and Alex Lyon comes up big here as Dmitry Orlov all alone in front of the net. Lyon pushes from the post into the middle of the crease, and on the really strong forecheck by Bertuzzi, Orlov's chance is turned aside. That's gotta feel great for Alex Lyon 4 minutes into his first playoff start.
It was an overtime win over Boston in late January that really convinced his teammates that he could be their frontline goalie. Final seconds of the power play, cross ice, and Zacha fanned on it from the bottom of the circle. Panthers back at full strength. Each team had one shot on goal during that Boston power play. Now Montour, 73 points in the regular season, the Panthers' single season record for defensemen. Here's Orlov on the move through center ice. The former Capital shot it in. Lyon played collegiately at Yale University, swept it to the corner. Big hit by Frederick, shot from the point by Connor Clifton, knocked down. It's chased to the offensive end by Colin White. Brian Lomberg out there with him, number 94, who centered one. Went by Giovanni Smith to the line. Shot through a crowd by Mahura. And the rebound whacked at by White. And it's skated back by Frederick. Dumped in by Charlie Coyle. Frederick got knocked down. There'll be another penalty against Florida for interference. As Frederick got dumped at the blue line as they look to enter the zone.
It's a foolish penalty by Giovanni Smith here. Regular season's one thing, in the playoffs, you just cannot make this play. It's got nothing to do with anything. The puck's gone, and he pulls Trent Frederick down from behind. The puck's gone. There's no play. Now you put the Bruins back on the power play here, and what you also do, Paul Maurice can't get Matthew Tkachuk on the ice. He's been sitting over here to my left for the first 5 minutes. You start to lose guys early in a game when you're shorthanded all the time.
You saw the graphic. They're the most penalized team in the league. Florida, they were tied in the regular season with Ottawa. 388 times penalized. Their 76% penalty kill is the worst of any of the teams in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They cannot continue to do this to themselves and be successful in this series.
It's already going to be hard enough. Give yourself a chance.
Krejci back up high. Lindholm passed it off. Here's Krejci again. It's DeBrusk in front of the net. Batted out of the air, up high, and a good play by Anton Lundell. Still a minute 37 on the power play. Lindholm pestered by Lundell, who slid it into the Boston end, and Florida changes its penalty killing unit. Marchand, nifty move, and his wrister gloved down by Lyon, who decides to hang on. And we welcome in Emily Kaplan. Good evening, Emily.
Hey guys, so Patrice Bergeron is not playing tonight. It's not because of injury, it's illness. There's a stomach bug that's been going around the Bruins room for about 2 weeks now, hitting different guys at different times. It does sound serious. Jacob Lauko is one of the players affected by it. He lost about 8 pounds. Jim Montgomery told us that without Bergeron, it's really important that Nick Foligno's back in the lineup. Remember, Foligno, the longtime captain in Columbus, he says he's very helpful on our bench.
They have a steady hand up and down the lineup. Of course, you lose Bergeron, and they hope Foligno will help out in that regard.
Pasternak sent it down low. Now Krejci up high to Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy. Some room, top of the slot. Zacha passed it off. A one-timer by Krejci. Pasternak scores! A power play goal and a 1-0 Boston lead.
This is some version of Boston's second power play. They took Jake DeBrusk and Brad Marchand off, and they put Bertuzzi and Zacha in the middle of the ice. Zacha will start this. Krejci's shot is stopped, but what a play by Tyler Bertuzzi, brought over at the deadline as the Bruins suffered injuries on the left side to Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno. A behind-the-back pass. 61 goals in the regular season, 1 in the playoffs, and the Bruins have the series' first goal, and it's David Pastrnak.
31st career playoff goal. He had 18 power play goals to lead the Bruins in the regular season. Bertuzzi and Krejci the assists. And having Bertuzzi in front of that's worked very well. He's a gritty net front presence on that power play.
Well, what a slick little pass over to Pastrnak. The Bruins said they knew he could pass the puck in traffic, that being Bertuzzi, but they've really seen a lot more of it since he has shown up here in Boston.
Montour back on it, and now Mark Stahl managed to get it to the neutral zone. Barkov into the far corner. Orlov was first there. Montour in aggressively for Florida. Boston trying to counterattack. Forsling in the neutral zone, stopped it, and here's Lundell. Tkachuk played it back. Forsling had it blocked off the skate of Charlie Coyle. He's trying to catch up to Frederick on the rush, and it's a delayed offside call, taken down now, whistled down against Boston.
There's nothing like a playoff goal, and David Pastrnak's the first on the board. A power play marker, and the Bruins lead 1-0.
Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN are presented by Geico. See how easy it is to bundle all your insurance needs. And in part by Walmart. Save money, live better.
Welcome back to Boston. Florida's $10 million goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, is healthy, but he has lost his starting job to Alex Lyon. Now, I've been told by players on the Panthers that Bobrovsky is itching to get back in there, but has been very supportive and helpful of Lyon through this period. Lyon debuted in January, and according to Paul Maurice, he was all over the crease. He looked like an exaggerated Tim Thomas. Then the team had about a month at home where he got a ton of practice time, regularly faced NHL shots, and also worked with the Panthers goaltending department, a area that they've invested a ton of resources in. And after that, he's just taken this job and run with it. I'm told that he's extremely confident, was very nervous on Saturday, but processed his emotions. He won a Calder championship last year in the AHL, says, I've been through a playoff run, I can do this.
He had a terrific run in the Calder Cup playoffs last year for the Chicago Wolves in the Carolina system. Shot in by Forsling. It is interesting, Bobrovsky is the only goalie in the league who's won 2 Vezina trophies. He's the backup. Centering pass by Tkachuk. It bounces around. Pastrnak can control it. Backhanded toward the net. Free. And scooped up by Luostarinen. Back to Ekblad at the point. Rebound knocked wide by Lundell. Good pressure here by Florida. Another centering pass. That one went off the stick of McAvoy, but poked back by Forsling. Tkachuk sent it off the side of the net, perhaps off the arm of Ullmark. And now Bertuzzi can't get it out.
A couple strong pinches by Ekblad. Keep this forecheck alive, and no surprise, it's the Tkachuk line that's generated this zone time.
Tremendous first season in Florida for Tkachuk. Centering pass and a weak backhand by Luostarinen, who was tied up and at the end of a long shift. They were out there for about a minute and a half with consistent pressure. Here's some numbers from the SAP Coaching Insights app. Florida did beat Boston twice. The only other team in the league to beat the Bruins twice in the regular season was Ottawa. They played 4 times. Each team won their 2 home games. One of the Florida wins was a wild, exciting overtime victory in late January in Sunrise. Boston had taken the lead with under a minute to go on a goal by David Pastrnak. And then Barkov tied it with less than 2 seconds to go with the net empty. And Reinhart won it in overtime. Here's Connor Clifton missing the net.
Sweet play by Charlie Coyle in the neutral zone to set that up. Florida looks like they're going to be really aggressive with their D up into the play here.
They scored 15 goals in those 4 games. That's the most goals any team scored this season against Boston. Bruins well aware of the talent on this Florida team. They won the President's Trophy last year. Pass broken up, intended for Charlie Coyle, who got it back, and then it hopped over the stick of Trent Frederick. Played back by Reinhart, who had that overtime game winner on January 28th. Panthers change up. They came into the playoffs hot. They had a 6-game winning streak to enhance their playoff chances, and even though they lost their last 2 of the regular season, they made it in when Pittsburgh struggled down the stretch. 4th straight playoff appearance for Florida. Hand pass knocks it down. This was a team, Ray, that back in late December was 9 points out of playoff position, adjusting to the new coaching style. Injuries, particularly to center iceman, and shaky goaltending at the beginning of the year, all conspired against them.
Well, when we're trying to figure out down the stretch who's in or who's out or who's in a playoff race, I don't know about you, but I had thought about 3 times Florida was finished, that they were out of the picture, they weren't going to be able to get it together. Then that 6-game winning streak you talk about, all with Alex Lyon in goal. All of a sudden the power play and the penalty kill started to run for them. And Paul Maurice did talk about a home-heavy schedule that really aided the way they played down the stretch.
Nick Cousins tried to scoop it and go, and then he got decked in front of the Boston bench by Connor Clifton. Nearly midway through the opening period, 1-0 Boston on David Pasternak's power play goal. He finished the regular season on a heater. He had 12 goals in their last 10 games. Smith, badgered from behind by Orlov, taken away by Clifton, then turned back over. Room for Forsling. He found Ekblad. That one got tipped just wide.
Ekblad's been busy so far.
He shoots again, and that one's blocked down by Ullmark. Forsling, another good play to keep it in. He's had a good first period for the Cats.
Bruins are going to need a tighter handle on Aaron Ekblad. He's really active in the offensive zone. That's about 5 or 6 shot attempts already in 10 minutes for him.
Connor Clifton wedged it in. Boston made a change. Lindholm's wrister, gloved by Lyon. And he hangs on with 9:31 to go in this first period.
It's going to be a physical series. It's always physical once you get to the playoffs. This is textbook. Connor Clifton on Nick Cousins. Seal, close, finish. Bruins lead 1-0.
Back in Boston, as we mentioned, we came on the air, very busy sports day. There was the 127th running of the Boston Marathon on the 10-year anniversary of the marathon bombings. A very emotional day here in this city. David Ortiz was the Grand Marshal. Of course, he and his Red Sox teammates Boston strong in 2013 when they won the World Series. Zdeno Chara, one of the all-time great defensemen. Almost didn't recognize him. He's lost about 30 pounds. He ran the marathon today. He did not beat Evans Chibet, who won for the 2nd year in a row on the men's side, and Helen O'Beary was the women's winner. They made their way through a dreary day here in Boston, rainy and cold and foggy.
And just think, Zdeno Chara at 3 hours and 38 minutes in his first marathon, lugging around 6'8".
Well, that's only 10 strides to go the 26 miles. The Big Z.
We always thought he was kind of a cyborg, and turns out he can do just about anything. Congratulations to him and everyone that ran the marathon today.
Jake DeBrusk taken off the puck by Montour. He's had his best season. Now Zacha put it right through the crease, but nobody there in black. And it's kicked around behind the net by Reinhart, now played ahead. Eric Stahl, 38-year-old veteran. That one's blocked out of the rink by Ullmark with exactly 9 minutes to go in the first.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Geico is back, and brackets are open. It's time to see if you can predict the playoffs. Create and join leagues to test your skills against friends and family. Sign up now at NHL.com/bracket.
Linus Ullmark stopped a shot with his mask earlier in the game, and this high flip, he's like, I don't want this around here either, so he blocks it up into the netting. Not a penalty because it's off the goalie.
We talk about the lack of playoff experience for Alex Lyon, but this is just the third career playoff game for Ullmark. Came to Boston last year after 6 in Buffalo, never made the playoffs with the Sabres. He started 2 games in their first round series against Carolina last year and did not see any more action as he struggled with the goals against for more than 4. He's determined to have it be different this time around with a much better team around him. Back of the line, Gudas. It ricocheted off the skate of Carter Verhaeghe. Mahura's drive blocked down. Mahura, great story, played in all 82 games after he was waived by Anaheim just before the season started. Part of a steady third defense pair with Gudas. That one shot wide from the circle by Barkov. Frederick dumped it in, and he got rattled by Mahura. Now it's Krejci in to badger Gudas. And here comes Bertuzzi in to deliver a hit on Gudas. Usually it's Gudas delivering the hits.
He's a guy to keep your eye up for. Gudas will come up in the middle of the ice. He's a dangerous guy, solid, and he'll come and hit right through you like a football player.
312 hits this year for Radko Gudas. Only Luke Schenn of Toronto had more. We'll see his Maple Leafs in action tomorrow night in Game 1 against Tampa Bay, Scotiabank Arena.
That will be a wild scene. The people in Toronto are pumped.
Krejci with Bertuzzi heading for the net, and a beautiful stop by Lyon. And the Bruins offside as the puck got brought back in. Terrific stop on a stretch by Lyon.
He gave up the goal to Pastrnak that he didn't have a chance on. He made an unbelievable save on Dmitry Orlov, but not like this. He read that pass. The Krejci pass is flat, and Bertuzzi is on his backhand, so all you're trying to do is shovel it, but the aggressiveness of Lyon comes out of his net and stays there. If he's deeper in the net, that allows that puck to get across to the stick of Bertuzzi. A great read and stop for Lyon.
And he stops it behind the net. Almost had trouble with it as Tomas Nosek came in to forecheck for Boston. Quickly the other way, Florida with a 9-5 edge in shots on goal.
Florida seals the walls off, seals the boards off, and pinches down. The Bruins are going to find the middle of the ice is more open than the walls if they want to break out that way.
Forbert turned it over. Here's Smith. And his shot saved by Ullmark into the corner. Forbert took a hit as he played it around the wall. It was Eric Stahl who went in the forecheck. 6:25 to go, first period. Boston leading 1-0 on a power play goal by David Pastrnak. Lomberg trying to step around Brandon Carlo. There's that long reach on defense. Carlo third in the league in plus minus. Here's Taylor Hall. Took it away from Forsling. Has Frederick with him. Hall for Frederick. And another stop by Lyon.
Man, his read and side to side. First going right to left on Bertuzzi. Now going left to right to take away one from Trent Frederick. Hall is going to push right by Forsling. Uses speed up the ice here. He takes a quick peek. And Lyon doesn't cheat early. I was really interested to see this highlight to see if he's across early, if the short side's open, but he wasn't. And as Frederick redirects this, look at the strong push. Left, across, pad flat, and Lyon makes the stop to keep this game 1-0 as the Panthers give up a couple of 2-on-1s in the last minute or so.
More than 200 games in the AHL. Only 31 in the NHL as a starter, and none in the playoffs, but he's been terrific, rewarding Paul Maurice's faith in him. So the entire team has faith in him. It's not a fluke what he's been doing. During that 6-game winning streak that got them into the playoffs, he didn't give up more than 2 goals in any of those games. Marchand tried to dump and chase, but Montour stopped the chase. And now Barkov with his mates in the midst of a change.
When Patrice Bergeron returns to this series, we'll see two of the best two-way centers in the game when he and Barkov go head-to-head.
Gudas with Pastrnak sweeping into forecheck. Lundell with Luostarinen. Backhander, trouble for Ullmark. He couldn't freeze it. Pastrnak there, he got checked off the puck. Ekblad fanned as he tried to send it in deeper. Then Pastrnak couldn't send Bertuzzi away. Luostarinen trying to peel it away from Lindholm, who led the NHL in plus-minus in the regular season at a ridiculous +49. Free puck, top of the crease, still free. And an opportunity for Luostarinen, turned aside by Ullmark.
The Bruins are going to have to do a better job because Florida is doing a terrific job of getting the puck to the point, getting it to the net, and crowding the front. The Bruins have to box out better because Florida is owning the front of the net right now.
Florida not as wide open as last year with the new coaching staff. Not a big stretch pass team this year, but still 6th in the league in goals at 3.5 per game during the regular season. And that one winds up out of the rink. 20 shot attempts already for Florida, 13 of them on goal. And Lions been terrific. We're in Boston for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Welcome back to Boston, here with Panthers coach Paul Maurice. Paul, when your team takes 2 penalties early, what's going through your mind?
We're probably going to get a couple of power plays here based on those calls.
How do you think your team adjusted?
Like our game right now, 5-on-5. I mean, we've given up a couple of breaks, but it's an aggressiveness issue, and I don't want to pull that back just yet. We can make some smarter plays, but I like our action around there, not an awful lot.
Thank you.
All right, then.
And Alex Lyon continuing to roar in the net for Florida. Become an enormous fan favorite, the Lion King.
There's a long history of goalies coming out of nowhere to have runs right near the end of the year or into the playoffs. Lyon is the latest, but not many of them are 30 years old. It's been a great story for Alex Lyon and the Panthers. Last time a big favorite got bounced in the playoffs was when Tampa lost to Columbus and Sergei Bobrovsky was the goalie.
Well, that was the year 2018-19 that Tampa Bay tied the regular season wins record with 62. It was held by Detroit in 1995-96. And then they got swept in the first round by Columbus and Sergei Bobrovsky. Lyon had to play. Bobrovsky got sick. Spencer Knight went into the players assistance program and he has not been back since. So Lyon stepped in January, played a stretch of 6 games, went 3-2-1. As he mentioned at the very end of that stretch, the overtime win against Boston when he played very well. Paul Maurice said that's really when he won his teammates over, demonstrated he could do this out of nowhere at age 30. Very accomplished college player for 3 years at Yale. One of the best in the country during his time in New Haven. Anthony Duclair banked it ahead. And here's Montour. Sends it in deep. We're down to 3:20 to go in the period. Centering pass picked off. Duclair tried to play it through, and it was Jake DeBrusk who wound up with it. And the Bruins are offside. So the playoffs are underway, and more action tonight. 9:30 on ESPN2. Game 1 for the Wild at the Stars. And here on ESPN, the Kings and the Oilers. Season series in both of those matchups in the regular season was 2-2 in both. Tomorrow night on TBS, the Rangers and the Devils, the Hudson River rivalry renewed. And at 7:30 on ESPN tomorrow night, Ray and Emily and I will be in Toronto for Tampa Bay and the Maple Leafs. 7th straight year in the playoffs for Toronto. That now ties Boston for the longest active streak. Can they get out of the first round? Bertuzzi's shot handled. The 3 longest playoff streaks all ended this year. Pittsburgh 16 years in a row. Washington and Nashville each in the playoffs each of the last 8, but none of them made it this year.
And the ball turns slowly over. Those Devils are young and aggressive. The Buffalo Sabres were 1 point out of the playoffs. Ottawa's really close. Those younger teams are starting to come together and to push. And don't forget Detroit. That's all in the Eastern Conference too.
The 16 teams in the playoffs and really no weak link. And we were talking to Jared Bednar, the Colorado coach, right in the last week of the regular season. Said really you pick your poison in the playoffs. Glove saved by Ullmark off the flip from the point by Ekblad, who keeps on firing toward the net. The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Geico is back. The game is available now. Create and join leagues to predict the playoff winners. Sign up now, NHL.com/bracket. Probably do better in your bracket if you wait a little while. See what some of the results are. Usually you have to fill in the brackets right before the thing starts, but apparently there's room for flexibility.
Well, whoever filled in an NCAA bracket's going to be a little gun shy, I think.
Oh, for sure. Here's Charlie McAvoy. Right up the middle. He had room to keep going, it appeared. It's chipped away by Ekblad from Nosek, kept in by Hathaway. 4th line on for Boston. Here's Hathaway with Nosek trying to screen. And the long ricochet went out to the red line, taken there by Orlov. Here's how deep Boston is. They're called for icing. With Forbert's return tonight, the healthy scratch on defense for the Bruins is Matt Grzelcyk, who was plus 46 in the regular season, which was second in the NHL behind his teammate Hampus Lindholm.
And with David Krejci back and Patrice Bergeron out, that keeps Trent Frederic in the lineup. Frederic likely would have been out with Bergeron healthy, and he had 17 goals this year.
And he was in the top 25 in the league in plus minus as well. Of course, the Bruins team goal differential an insane plus 128. That'll be an icing call against Florida. With 2:02 to go in the first period, Jim Montgomery's Bruins leading 1-0. A power play goal by David Pastrnak. Here's Arda in the studio.
Sean, thank you very much. Updating you on the other game over on ESPN2, the Islanders and the Hurricanes. It was 1-0. On the power play are the Hurricanes, and it's Stefan Noesen. We'll get a stick on that. And seconds later, the Islanders respond. Ryan Pulock actually whiffs on the pass here, but it goes in off the stick. 2-1 in the second, Sean.
All right, Arda, thank you. That figures to be a low-scoring series, Ray. Two teams that really lean on defense.
They do it differently. The Canes, as we've seen over the last couple of years, are so fast. They're going with Antti Raanta in goal tonight, and the Islanders build around Ilya Sorokin, who's just had a remarkable season. I think he'll be a Vezina finalist, but they're big and they're heavy, and I don't see a lot of goals there either. It's going to be a tough series.
Almost a 2-1 edge in shots for Florida. They got put on their heels by the 2 quick penalties right out of the gate. Carter Verhaeghe, their leading goal scorer with 42. He dumped it in, then went in and put a pop on Carlo. Now Krejci looking to go at DeBrusk, and they're offside. Krejci in ahead of the play. DeBrusk and Ekblad separated without any further hostilities. Here's the bracket in the East. Leafs and Lightning get started tomorrow, as do the Devils and the Rangers out west. The Vegas Golden Knights, the #1 seed. What a great job Bruce Cassidy has done there. They'll take on the Jets. Oilers and Kings. Seattle and Colorado. Congrats to the Kraken in the playoffs in their second year in existence, and the Stars and the Wild.
And the Golden Knights get their captain Mark Stone back. Missed the last 39 games of the season, but one difference possibility is Connor Hellebuck is on a heater, and he's one of the game's best goaltenders.
Bouncing puck, Pastrnak after it with Mark Stahl. Stahl able to stop that attempt. Free in the neutral zone, it bounces around. Tkachuk played it ahead, and Florida's offside.
Well, looks one penalty's going to come out of this mess here. And it looks like it's going to be a Bruins penalty. Charlie McAvoy's barking away here. Johnny Murray's leading him to the bench.
Boston Bombers 73, 2 minutes cross-checking.
And it is McAvoy for the cross-check, as you hear. So the Panthers, their first power play of the series. A power play that leans heavy on their defensemen shooting the puck. Montour and Ekblad. Ekblad's got 8 power play goals. Here's the penalty. Well, now both teams will have a penalty they don't like.
Yeah, we heard Paul Maurice didn't like the penalty. He didn't have any argument about the interference call against Smith. Their second penalty, perhaps he didn't like the first, the tripping call against Ekblad. Now it's the Boston fans who don't like that call against McAvoy. Florida on the power play, 10th in the league at 22.8%. The Bruins by far the best penalty killing unit. 3 percentage points ahead of any other team in the league at 87.3. Down to a minute to go in the first period. Ekblad snapped it in from up high. Boston has killed off 42 of their last 43 shorthand situations. And that's without Derek Forbort, who they think is their best penalty killer on the D-corps.
And watch here for the Panthers when they get set in the zone. Montour with the puck looking for Ekblad in the one-timer. He can really shoot it.
Tkachuk played it back. He has 14 power play goals. Reinhart has a team-high 16. Down to 30 seconds in the period. Reinhart,
there goes
Montour.
Ekblad.
Quick centering pass and a bouncing puck hopped over the stick of Ekblad. Snapped down low and snatched out of the air by Linus Ullmark with 14.5 in the period and 55 on the Florida power play. They went 3 for 15, 20% against Boston in the 4 regular season meetings.
And the Panthers keep that first group out there. Barkov, Reinhart, and Tkachuk up front. Tkachuk around the front of the net is exactly how you'd like a net front guy to play. He's got great hands, can really pass the puck in traffic, and you mentioned he's got the 14 power play goals, most of them from the top of the crease.
We had 2 40-goal scorers in the regular season for the first time in franchise history. Tkachuk and Verhaeghe, and that's going to end the first period. The Panthers will be on the power play for the first 41 seconds of the second period. Goaltending strong. Pastrnak on the power play, the only goal of this game. Back to the studio. Here's Steve Levy.
Thank you, Sean. And we will hear from Pasta coming up in the intermission, the Lexus First Intermission Report. We got a full house. We can't go for a spin. Stanley's here along with Chelly Mess.
No hands.
And Arda. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Lexus First Intermission Report.
He can do it as well as anybody. That's the hat trick. 60 goals for David Pastrnak, who won the pasta for lunch.
1-0 Boston leads Florida. What were the shots on goal in that first period? Can we do this live? Because at one point, Florida... All right, so this would be surprising. At one point, it was 11-7 in favor of Florida. It finished 15-8. Florida Panthers out shooting the Boston Bruins. Game 1 in Boston, greatest team in hockey history kind of thing. The Bees have the 1-0 lead. You guys surprised by the pushback by Florida?
No, I'm not surprised at all. We knew they're going to come out hard and try to make it into a physical game, a physical series. But the problem that I see with it, I think Boston is more physical than Florida is. So that's going to be hard for Florida to win that battle. And they're not as skilled as Boston. but we'll see. We'll wait and see what happens. But I thought Florida actually played a really good period.
Yeah.
But obviously not good enough.
They got to play aggressive, that's for sure. And when they did, a couple chances, they pinched a couple times. There's a couple 2-on-1s. They got fortunate line come up big for them. But that's the only way to play aggressive. Take some chances, force some turnovers, and hopefully get a goal or two.
Yeah, they definitely got to play on their toes. And when you have a goaltender like Lyon playing the way that he is, listen, you get a hot goaltender. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You need a hot goaltender in the league to have a chance in the playoffs. They got that going on. But, for Boston, they got to conserve and manage their energy. This is a marathon for them. They don't need to be wasting energy getting in tussles with these guys. I've done it. I've been guilty of it in my career.
Yeah.
It's high emotions in these games. But for a guy like Charlie McAvoy, they need him on the ice to do all of those things. So you got to manage that.
And then when Florida tries to push back, Giovanni Smith goes and takes the bad penalty. And, the Bruins don't need any help here, right?
Yeah.
Florida wins. This is going to be tight and close. They need so here's the penalty by Smith. Paul Maurice's reaction was pretty much what you would expect. I think more mad at his own player than the official. And, of course, that leads to the power play goal.
Yeah, and you can expect a guy like Smith to go out there and try to get aggressive, but that's his game. But I love what his coach said to him. He loves the aggressiveness of the team. He loves that demeanor that they're taking on right now. He's not going to punish them for taking that penalty, although it is a bad penalty to take. You got to give those young kids some leeway there. And I really was happy that he said he's not putting the blame on him for that. He likes their demeanor and their aggressiveness. So that was really a good sign for the young Giovanni Smith.
He also said that he knew we'd be getting the next few power plays.
He did, and that's the way it goes, right?
And he did.
Boston's going to get one more after this one.
That's how it evens out. Here he is, the goal scorer with Emily Kaplan moments ago.
David, you just scored the first goal for your team in the playoffs. After that puck went in, what were you feeling?
Yeah, obviously happy. It was a big goal on PP. It's good for our power play to get one that quick, So overall good period. Get the legs under us and hopefully we can get better.
I see you're debuting a new playoff haircut. What went into the inspiration?
Obviously a little mullet for playoff never gets old. So a little old school hockey.
And your team is dealing with a stomach bug that's gone through the room. It's keeping your captain, Patrice Bergeron, out. What's it been like dealing with that? Guys getting sick at different times?
Yeah, this is the world we're living. I had a couple of weeks, so it's not fun, but nothing you can control, and unfortunate timing, and how I said, we have to get it done for the guys out.
Dekuye.
Yeah, thank you.
What's a mullet?
Mullet.
Oh, my bad. I see.
The mullet. I've never had one.
Mullet.
I'm not. Maybe I should grow one out. I don't know.
You had one in the All-Star game there.
Playoff mullet.
I had one in the All-Star game?
Didn't with the Yager?
Yager. I had the wig on. I spray painted that
Oh,
wig.
that wasn't real hair.
I had the paint coming in my eyes, ears, everything.
So a mullet.
Mullet.
Which is mullet, of course. We didn't know that. Isles and Canes going at it. Game 1 in Raleigh. We'll get you an update from there on opening night in the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN.
This First Intermission Report is presented by the first ever all-electric RZ. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. Welcome back to the Lexus First Intermission Report.
I think they're going to see a lot of each other. McDavid and Kopitar.
Oh, I like it. All black, maybe Grim Reaper. He's got Mess's shoes on. Could be captain's orders. I like it.
Kopitar and the Kings in Edmonton coming up later on ESPN. Meanwhile, on ESPN2 right now, here's a live look in Raleigh. The Carolina Hurricanes in their Game 1 leading the Islanders by a score 2-1. Canes had a 2-0 lead. Looked like they were going to blow things open, and the Islanders quickly came back and scored to keep themselves in the game at 2-1.
Yeah, it's the kind of game that we expected in this series. It's going to be a really hard, grinding type of series. Both teams don't score a lot, or typically haven't scored a lot, so you can expect some real 2-1, 3-2 games. But really kind of trench warfare in this series, and so far as this series goes along, you're going to see the rink start to shrink, and it's going to be tough sledding out there, and I would expect this to continue for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and you got to watch the Ds. The Ds, to me, are going to make the difference in this series. Burns already's got 2 assists. Oh, could be looking at a power play here, and we are.
Another trip.
And Pulock, Chelly had said it before the game.
Yep.
The Islanders D got to take some chances and get aggressive. Pulock keeps the puck in, jumps down the wall, makes a play, and creates that goal.
Yeah, and with 2 good goaltenders, obviously, with 2 defensive teams, you expect a low-scoring game.
Bruins and Panthers, the second period on the way from Boston. You've been watching the Lexus First Intermission Report.
You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN, presented by Geico from TD Garden in Boston. The Bruins with a 1-0 lead over Florida at the end of one period on a power play goal by David Pastrnak. Time for tonight's game recap, brought to you by Ego and by a man with no ego, Ray Ferraro.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, I'll take it, though. Thank you. Here's that Bruins power play goal. Tyler Bertuzzi in front of the net. Little push-off on Gudas, who goes to block it. When he does it, now Mark Stahl's got to scramble. Hey, that leaves David Pastrnak open. It's 1-0. The Bruins 1 for 2 on the power play. This is where Florida really started to make some hay in the offensive zone. The point shots, the traffic. Omar got to fight through it. Florida gets a couple of chances. They shoot the puck from the point an enormous amount. 13 shots attempted from their defense. And when the puck gets to the net, the Panthers converge. They got 40 seconds on this power play to try and tie it up.
Yeah, they got put on their heels, Ray, by the 2 quick power plays for Boston. But after that, really an edge in play for the Panthers in that first period.
I thought they played an excellent first period. When Paul Maurice was talking to Emily, he said he liked their 5-on-5 game. I can see why. They chipped the puck in, they forechecked. The one thing that really happened a lot is the Panthers aggressively pinched down the walls, kept the puck in, and generated some second chance opportunities in the offensive zone.
The power play continues for Florida. Charlie McAvoy still in the box for a cross-checking penalty late in the first period. And they're offside are the Cats as they try to establish the power play in the offensive end. 30 seconds remaining on the man up for Florida.
Always that first minute power play. Every time you come out, you think, oh, fresh ice, we can move the puck quicker. But in a lot of cases, the penalty killers are able just to get it and shoot it down the ice before the offensive players, the power play, are warmed up.
Charlie Coyle right off the face-off. Shot it down the ice. He's one of their best face-off men. They're playing without their best face-off man. Patrice Bergeron, if he joined us late, scratched due to illness. Pavel Zacha moved up to center the top line for Boston. Here they come shorthanded for another 10 seconds. Nosek across for Coyle. Content just to kill some time, and McAvoy's on his feet and ready to come out of the box. He's out, and both teams are at full strength. McAvoy with some room. One-on-one on Ekblad, put it on net, rebound free for a moment, and smothered by Alex Lyon. Here's Emily Kaplan.
Guys, I talked to Joe Sacco, assistant coach for the Boston Bruins at intermission, and he pointed out, yes, their defensemen are very active, and just as Ray said, they're getting a shot on net, and then 2 guys creep behind. So what the Bruins told their defensemen is, you've got to do a better job of boxing him out. That's going to be a key focus for them here in the second period.
It's really a challenge how aggressively Florida gets to the front, and Joe Sacco's down here by the defenseman. They look at the tablet, they get a look at what happens in between periods, and that, as Emily just points out, becomes a point of emphasis to the team.
Krejci won the draw. Here's Orlov sneaking in, wristed it wide. Off the wall to Verhaeghe. He couldn't clear. Batted out of the air by Bertuzzi. And now McAvoy. Cross ice it comes for for Dmitry Orlov. He poked it over toward his own bench and got it. Double teamed up high, and he turned it over. Long pass hoping for Duclair. It winds up on his stick. Duclair, and a pad save made by Ullmark. Be a big boost to Florida in the playoffs if Duclair could get back to his form of last year when he had 31 goals. He played in only 20 this year due to injury and had 2. Orlov was tied up by Verhaeghe. He couldn't handle the pass. Swept back by Montour. Pass Stahl, who goes in. That's Eric Stahl. Brother Marks on defense. They played their last regular season game Thursday against Carolina against brother Jordan. Hall knocked down as he tried to make a move in the slot. Lomberg the other way for Florida. Ullmark has scored a goal into an empty net in Vancouver this year. Swept it around to the near side. Taken back by Trent Frederick. Montour behind the net, got on the way. Stahl put it right on the stick of Lomberg. Up from the point, Mahura playing in his first career playoff game on defense for the Panthers, and it's Charlie Coyle going the other way. Well, the officials got in the way for the moment. Now Coyle working on Stahl, and a terrific play by Mark Stahl to poke it away. He played in all 82 games this year at age 36. Plenty of playoff experience for the Stahl brothers.
I think Mark had a lot to do with Brandon Montour's excellent year, that Montour able to get up in the play with the comfort of his partner looking after things at the other end.
Sloppy rebound left by Ullmark, and now Smith off the ricochet. Tried to jam it along the near post. And he gets going with Hathaway, and that's not a big surprise.
Nick Cousins on the limp coming out of that pile there is the Panthers flip and then chase, and Ullmark can't handle it. Now it's a little bit of chaos. Look how the Panthers get to the crease. There's 3 of them in the blue paint, and Cousins is going to get knocked down as Giovanni Smith chips this at the front of the net. Ullmark has to be sharp to get across and shut that down, but there are the Panthers again, and what Joe Sacco talked about. Ooh, that's close. As the puck sits just a couple inches in front of the line, is that the Panthers get to the net, the Bruins have to be able to box them out. And if they don't, Florida's going to get inside them again. Eventually a rebound will pop free.
Well, those goals off the rebounds, not a surprise given, as you said, how often the defensemen shoot the puck. That one got ricocheted into the near corner. Close to Ryan the Finn. Tried to keep it alive. Noshek had his pass batted away. More than 3 minutes gone by, second period. Boston leading 1-0. They lost only once in regulation in the regular season when they scored first, and only once in regulation when they led after the first period. That was in the same game here on March 9th against Edmonton. The brusque pass too far ahead of McAvoy, who would join the rush. Quick hit ahead off the stick of Lostarinen. Sent back by Orlov to McAvoy. Room for Marchand with Zacha coming with him. Off the glove and in! Oh, after so many terrific stops by Lyon, he gives up a weak one, and Marchand makes it 2-0.
The next couple of minutes are going to be really critical for Alex Lyon. He's got to shove this aside. It's a shot he's going to stop 99 times out of 100. There's the 100th. It's the wrister, just a play to get it on the net from Marchand, and it goes right underneath the glove of Alex Lyon. Marchand needs that. He comes into the playoffs with just 1 goal in his last 18 games. It's a fortunate break for the Bruins off the glove of Alex Lyon, and it's 2-0.
His 50th career playoff goal, second most in Bruins history. 5 behind Cam Neely, now the Bruins team president. Marchand was tied with 49 with Patrice Bergeron. Not in action tonight. Back of the line, Montour. He had 16 goals, tying their franchise record for goals by a defenseman. Free puck played ahead by Krejci. Lobbed out by Bertuzzi. So Pasternak and Marchand, the goal scorers for Boston. Pasternak's goal gives him 1 in all 5 games this year against Florida. He had 1 in each of the 4 regular season meetings. Marchand from McAvoy and Orlov at 3:41.
The Bruins will turn this puck quickly. Orlov a spin around from Lusterainen. He loses the forechecker, and McAvoy finds Marchand. There's nowhere to go as Ekblad has taken away Marchand's lane to the net, so he just shovels it at the net, and it hits the glove, spins it backward, and drops into the net. Marchand will take it, as will the Bruins.
They mentioned the trouble down the stretch to score. Included in that 1 goal in 18 was a 16-game goalless drought. Last 6 years he had averaged at least a point per game. Didn't get there this year, coming off hip surgery in the offseason. Gudis put it on net, kicked out by Linus Ullmark. Now Hampus Lindholm for Tyler Bertuzzi. He's badgered by Stahl, stepped away from Stahl and lofted it out to the red line. And now the TD Garden fans serenading Lyon after the shaky goal. Eric Stahl managed to power toward the net. Played back to the line. Forsling hit his own man Stahl in the low slot and carried him to the near wall. More than 5 minutes played now in the second period. Forbert dumped it into the left wing corner, hoping for Hall in the forecheck on Forsling. Coyle played it a little deeper. We want the cup, the chant from these Bruins fans. Need 16 wins. Long way to go.
Long way to go.
They last won it in 2011. They've won one in the last 50 years. Back of the line, Ekblad slapped it in behind the net, scooped up there by McAvoy. Off Marchand to Frederick. Marchand has some room. Rest of his team in the midst of a change. His pass back got deflected out of the zone. Picked up by Lundell. First round pick a couple of years ago for Florida. 12th overall. He's just 21 years old. Orlov trying to move away from Tkachuk. That is going to be an icing call against Boston.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Geico is back, and brackets are open. It's time to see if you can predict the playoffs. Create and join leagues to test your skills against friends and family. Sign up now at NHL.com/bracket.
Brad Marchand, the second goal. We mentioned only Cam Neely with more in playoff history for the Bruins. He's one of 3 players remaining from that 2011 Stanley Cup championship team, along with Bergeron and Krejci. Marchand played it ahead. Here's DeBrusk, has Zacha with him. 2-on-1. Great stick work by Montour to knock it away. Then Mark Stahl played it around for Tkachuk. Back-to-back 100-point seasons for Matthew Tkachuk last year in Calgary. Here he comes and he scores. They got a great bounce, and Matt Tkachuk took advantage of it. Florida on the board. It's 2-1.
Great hands from Matthew Tkachuk. This puck's going to spin off the Bruins defenseman's stick out into the slot. Tkachuk takes it quickly to the forehand and beats Ullmark. Luostarinen dumps it around the boards. And as the puck goes around the back of the net, Orlov wants to field it on his backhand. And he ends up deflecting it right to Tkachuk. He takes it on the backhand like a pass, quickly to the forehand, and he beats Ullmark. And the Bruins have erased that bad goal, or rather the Panthers have erased the bad goal moments ago. They're right back in it. They've played a good 27 minutes of hockey here. They really have. They're down 2-1, but they've got to like a lot of their game.
Back-to-back 40-goal seasons for Tkachuk. He had exactly 40 in the regular season this year, which was 14th in the league. That pass did not connect. Another icing call against Boston.
David Pasternak's just saying to the linesman, or rather to the official, I haven't touched the puck yet. He feels that was an interference penalty. As we'll get another look at the goal. Tkachuk is going to come from the middle of the ice and go right down the slot. Orlov's misplay ends up right on his stick. It's like a pass. And Tkachuk's going to take this, and this is where he shows his sweet hands. Watch how quickly he takes it. Forehand to the backhand for a moment, over to the forehand, and before Ullmark can shield off that far blocker side, it's in the net.
Face off, drawn back by Verhaeghe, but Boston wound up with the puck and has a 3-on-3 as Bertuzzi sent it into the right wing corner. Chipped by Pastrnak, then Bertuzzi knocked it off the side of the net. Here comes Barkov. That pass hopped over the stick of Verhaeghe. No icing as he got there. Then he knocked down Carlo. Here's Lindholm. Crowd a lot quieter now after that Tkachuk goal. Cross ice for Barkov. He had 2 goals and 4 assists against Boston the regular season, 6 points, more than any player in the league had against Boston this year. Carlo couldn't move it up the boards. Carlo has it back, got it to the red line, chested down there by Gudas, snapped around by Reinhart. Lomberg tried to center it, Carlo blocked it. Bertuzzi banks it out of the zone around Mahura. Gudas back there to cover for Florida. Nearing 12 minutes to go in the second period. Strange bounce off the glass, came right out in front of the net. Eric Stahl was tied up. Reinhart couldn't possess it. Boston content to roll it down, and they wave off icing as Mahura was chased by Frederick. Bad turnover. And the shot by Hall missed the net. Frederick in the corner, kept it alive for Coyle. Now Frederick pitches it back for Charlie Coyle. Played all 82 games this year for the 6th time in his career in 11 seasons in the NHL. Coyle swoops into the right wing corner, trying to keep it away from Stahl. Back of the line, Clifton passed up a shot. Forbert, wrist one, hit some traffic out in front. Clifton sends it in deeper. Panthers look tired in their own zone. They've been there a long time, but here's a hit ahead for Lomberg. His shot squeezed by Linus Ullmark.
The building's gotten quiet as the game has changed. First it was Brad Marchand, 2-0. Everybody's having a great time. But then Matthew Tkachuk, the Panthers' leading scorer and their heartbeat, makes it 2-1, and it's a different game.
Here with Bruins coach Jim Montgomery. Jim, how would you describe the game so far from your perspective?
Oh, it's been really fast-paced. I love the intensity by both teams. I think we played a really smart game so far. I like our D-zone coverage. I don't like our O-zone. We're not hanging on the pucks. We're not wearing out the back of the net, so we're not spending any time in the fun zone.
What were your immediate concerns after they scored that goal?
Just our response, but our response all year has been good, so I really didn't have that many concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the response is you've got to find a way to get the puck into the zone and slow down this Panther forecheck, as they've really spent a lot more time in the Bruins zone than the other way around.
Montour sent it in, and it's smothered by Ullmark. More game ones tomorrow, including here on ESPN at 7:30. Tampa Bay at Toronto. 9:30 on ESPN2. Winnipeg is at Vegas, and then the first playoff game in the history of the Seattle Kraken there, Colorado against the defending Stanley Cup champion Avalanche. 10 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN. Playoffs are underway. Some great action here at TD Garden tonight. The Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins. 27th anniversary of the first playoff game in Panthers history, and it was against Boston back in 1996, a series that the Panthers won. Cross ice pass. Montour played it off. Duclair's shot deflected up and out of the rink by Lindholm.
The one thing that does happen when you forecheck as well as Florida has is you see Hampus Lindholm, he's not able to get into the play. The Bruins defense has been such a big part of their offense this year. The change from Bruce Cassidy to Jim Montgomery engaged those defensemen in the rush more frequently. Haven't really seen them at all in the first half of this game.
Off the draw, Tkachuk played it back. Forsling sent it across for Ekblad. Here comes Ekblad again. Forsling had it deflected over the net into the corner. Centering pass broken up, and it winds up on the stick of Marchand. As several teammates looking to join the rush, including DeBrusk, but it was swept away by Forsling. Orlov turned it over to Tkachuk. Tried to power his way to the net. And he is a powerful player. First player in the league with 100 points and 100 penalty minutes since Sidney Crosby back in 2005-2006, early in Sid the Kid's career.
That was an odd name to see on that list, wasn't it?
It sure was. Was not that surprised that the only two players who were in the top 25 in the league this year in scoring and had more than 100 penalty minutes were Matthew Tkachuk and his brother Brady from Ottawa.
Yeah, I think his dad had 100 penalty minutes somewhere too.
Their dad, of course, Keith. Here's a shot deflected by Forbort into the corner. Oh, and then Stahl got splattered by Connor Clifton.
That's a couple of big hits for Clifton tonight.
From a tough angle, Montour. You noted early, these defensemen for Florida continually send the puck toward the net. Only Carolina had more goals from defensemen than Florida this year, and there's an icing call against Boston. Well, Matthew and Brady, the sons of Keith Tkachuk, 598 career goals. We talked during the All-Star game when Matthew and Brady played together on a line. Matthew was the game MVP. That Keith has a strong case to be in the Hall of Fame.
And Matthew and Brady talk about how Taran is the most ferocious of the competitors.
Virginia field hockey player. 109 minutes to go, second period. 109 points in the regular season for Matthew Tkachuk. Krejci played it ahead to Bertuzzi. He lost possession, then got it back in the corner. Barkov played it around for Mark Stahl. Long pass, cross ice. Here comes Duclair. Jams the brakes on with Lindholm right there for the Bruins. And it's backhanded out by Coyle. Hall managed to avoid a check by Gudas. Now it's a 2-on-1. Cross ice and a beautiful glove save by Lyon on Trent Frederic.
This is the second time these two have hooked up on a 2-on-1. Taylor Hall escapes the hit, and Frederic can't beat Alex Lyon again. The puck flutters off his stick. Lyon the stop, and it stays 2-1.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN from Boston, presented by Geico, are brought to you by Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power equipment. Time for tonight's winning ingredients, brought to you by Chipotle.
After 61 goal scorer David Pastrnak scored in the first period, the Stars get into it again here in the second. Brad Marchand gets lucky for his first of the playoffs. Alex Lyon, after several great stops, misplays this one. But moments later, Matthew Tkachuk, he of a 41-goal year and 100-plus points 2 years in a row, makes a sweet little hands play in tight, and the Panthers trail 2-1.
Stars shining brightly on opening night of the playoffs.
Interesting, the Coyle line goes back out for the faceoff, but Marchand's out there instead of Trent Frederic on this offensive zone faceoff.
Marchand had it taken away by Anton Lundell. Tkachuk thought about it for a moment, then elected to dump it in. Luostarinen went flying in. Boston with 11 shots on goal, more than midway through the game.
Just 3 this period.
McAvoy struggling to get it out. Here's Coyle trying to hold off Forsling. They joust in the corner. Others come, and here's Luostarinen. McAvoy stopped it, and then it's chopped out. Here's Tkachuk. Waiting, has Lundell. Nice work on The back check by Taylor Hall to interrupt that. Under 7.5 to go in the period. Shot from the point ricochets into the near corner. Taken there by Orlov. Dmitry Orlov weaving through some traffic in the neutral zone. He dumps it in, and Boston changes up.
I think when Boston looks at the tape of the first half of this game, at least, they're slow compared to Florida. They're slow with their puck movement. They're slow with support. And the Panthers have been up in their face. There's nowhere for the Bruins to go. That's how the Bruins play most nights.
Krejci up high. Forbert trying to feed it through for Bertuzzi. High handoff for Clifton. A wrist shot blocked by Reinhart out in front of the net. Lomberg tried to clear. Comes to the near wall. Pasternak down low. Krejci back for Pasternak. Forbert a one-timer went wide with Bertuzzi creating traffic. He centered one, and it just missed Pasternak. Eric Stahl headmans for Reinhart. He backhands it in and goes off. Shot attempts in the second period are 20-9 in favor of Florida. Here's DeBrusk in the forecheck on Mahura. Smith had trouble with the puck, lost it for a moment to DeBrusk, and then got it back. Then turned it over to Zacha between the legs to DeBrusk. Here's Lindholm, and it's handled by Lyon. A better pass would have given Lindholm a better opportunity, but it was in his skates, and it cost him.
So without Bergeron in the lineup, Frederic and Marchand flip on their lines. Fredric's now out with DeBrusk and Zacha. Marchand's going to jump out again. There's that pass you talk about and the clean look for Lyon. It's got to probably feel pretty decently that he catches it anyway. That's kind of the same shot that Marchand's deflected off him into the net. So a couple offensive zone faceoffs, a little glimpse into how playoff coaching is different than the regular season. Got a chance for a goal in a big game, out goes your best guys.
Clearing attempt hit the linesman, and the Panthers still able to clear it out. And that's an icing call. With 5:52 to go in the second period, 2-1 Boston. Tonight at 9:30, game one for the Wild and the Stars. They were part of that three-way battle all the way to the end in the Central Division. Won by the Avalanche. Coming up right after us on ESPN, Kings and Oilers. That should be a wide open and fun series. Rangers and Devils get started tomorrow night on TBS, and we'll be in Toronto for the Lightning and the Maple Leafs game one at 7:30 on ESPN. Lindholm tried to step away from Duclair. Carlo through the circle, didn't connect with Marchand, and it's banked off the glass by Forsling and taken back by Lindholm. Now Duclair. Lindholm in his own zone. Had it taken away by Duclair, put it to the side of the net, swept away by Linus Ullmark, and played out by Marchand. Bruins want a line change. They make a partial change. Lundell cross ice, winds up with Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk, the third player all time to have 40 goals and 100 points in consecutive seasons for different teams. Wayne Gretzky and Jimmy Carson, the only others who have done that. Was a big trade in the offseason. He went with Jonathan Huberdeau going in the other direction.
Really changed along with Paul Maurice, Sean, the way that they wanted to play. They wanted to be a more playoff style team, more controlled, a better defensive team. And Paul Maurice told us before the game he wants this to be their coming out party so that they know and people see that they believe in the style they're playing. I'd say for almost two periods that's been the case.
Well, we mentioned earlier, long time to adjust to the system. Goaltending problems early on. Lions solved those down the stretch. Lots of injuries. They're still playing without Sam Bennett. They hope they'll get him back, perhaps game 3 in Sunrise. Hathaway just did keep it in at the line. We're down to 4.5 to go in the second period. 2-1 Boston. Stahl got ridden off the play by Clifton. Here's Foligno. Hasn't played much in his return for the first time in quite a while. Krejci content to flip it in along the boards to Pasternak. Now out high. Krejci wanted a one-timer. Clifton has some room. and has the screen, and a shot turned aside by Lyon. came from Dmitry Orlov. Foligno hasn't played since February 23rd at Calgary. Free puck, Coyle quickly ahead to Bertuzzi, playing in his first career playoff game. Crowd trying to get itself back into it with the chant of "Let's go Bruins." Frederick stopped the clear. Tries to sidestep Colin White, who's back in his hometown, grew up here in the Boston area, played at BC. Carlo's shot deflected wide. Forbert sends it in deeper. Stall there for Florida, to the line and out. Batted out of the air by Coyle, who flipped it right back in on Lyon. And with a couple of black and gold shirts coming at him, he wisely held on. You'd expect him to be smart. He went to Yale. 3:13 to go. Second period. Boston 2 and Florida 1.
In the eyes, boys. Look each other in the eyes. The fun starts now. These are your brothers, the guys you expect to play the right way, to stay in the moment.
Jim Montgomery's words to his team right before they came out for tonight's playoff game. 135 points, the NHL record, as were their 65 wins of the regular season. They said all along, it's great to make history, something that hasn't happened in more than 100 years in the league, but it is the Stanley Cup that is important.
The whole reason you play, really, is to get your hands on the mug, and saw a little bit of good news in that talk. You saw Patrice Bergeron was there, so not so ill that he was at home, which is probably good news as they look ahead to Game 2.
And they said it was a game-time decision, so probably Game 2. Lindholm's snap lines up in the seats adjacent to the Bruins bench. So 2-1 here and 2-1 in Raleigh for the Canes and the Islanders. They're early in the third period in Game 1 of that series.
It's amazing once the playoffs start how the games just get so tight, so tense. Every loose puck's the most important one you can fight for.
And the next goal in this one feels huge. Carlo blocked down by Lyon. Lindholm came pinching in to keep it in, then got a stick lifted by Duclair. DeBrusk double teamed, and Forsling came away with it.
He's played a good game tonight for Florida.
He sure has. Another guy who was waived, and that was by Carolina, picked up by Florida, and he played all 82 this year. Lindholm. His shot got deflected behind the net. Barkov couldn't move it around. DeBrusk back to the point. McAvoy, that got hit by traffic out in front. And it's in the net. Lyon couldn't find it, and it got poked in. Boston leads 3-1.
The Panthers coaches are looking at this on the video as this goalie interference, as the chaos ensues. It would be on Bertuzzi's stick. Lyon never gets a chance to handle it. He loses it here. Everybody dives into the crease, and this puck is right here. This will be what they're questioning if they do, as the puck eventually works its way through.
Looked like Jake DeBrusk. There were a couple of Bruins whacking at it.
There's the puck on Lyon's pad. It is DeBrusk. It's sitting right on top of his pad. And DeBrusk is going to dive in, swat it off the pad. And Paul Maurice just told the official, I'm okay, no challenge. Jake DeBrusk's ugly goal, he'll say it's a beautiful one. Bertuzzi's shot off Ekblad, it's just sitting on the pad. Lyon doesn't know where it is. Bertuzzi finds it first, and it's 3-1.
Big goal for DeBrusk at 27 in the regular season, a career high, even though he missed 18 games with a broken leg. Panthers down by 2 for the second time. McAvoy for Bertuzzi. We're nearing 2 minutes to go in this second period. Here's Krejci. Has Bertuzzi coming with him, then Krejci went down. Mark Stahl also to the ice. Pastrnak got spun around on a hit by Montour on the way by. It got turned over to Taylor Hall. Couple of Bruins out in front. Centering pass swept away by Luostarinen. He's been involved in a lot of the action tonight. He collided with a teammate. They didn't get it out. Coming in deeper is Orlov. Tried to sidestep Stahl. Hall for Krejci, and he fanned on a one-timer. A minute and a half to go, and the crowd back into it after the goal by DeBrusk. From Bertuzzi and Zacha. 2 assists for Tyler Bertuzzi in his first career playoff game. Long pass, tipped by Hall, didn't get it in deep. Gudas played it out, sent back by Forbort, skated back by Josh Mahura. Looking for some help. That one pinballs around to the near point for a Gudas drive. Swept away but not out. Mahura will tee it up.
Man, these defensemen shoot it like crazy.
I was just going to say that they are not bashful. They wind up and fire. Forbort to Coyle. That didn't clear. 40 seconds in the period. Good work by Eric Stahl. And then Mahura stopped it in the neutral zone. Reinhart banked it around. Stahl there. Knocked off the puck by Coyle. Marchand clears. Gudas took it back at center ice. Then he got rocked by Hathaway. Filed that one away. Marchand. The head for Zacha. Couldn't knock down an aerial pass. Zacha with 20 goals. One of 5 20-goal scorers for Boston this year. He had a career year in his first season here in Boston. Nice pass by DeBrusk for Marchand. Content to set it behind the net to end the period.
Jake DeBrusk gave the Bruins a 3-1 lead as the puck is sitting right on top of Alex Lyon's pad. Just sitting there. He knows it's somewhere close. He can't find it. And as Forsling tries to tie up DeBrusk, he finds it first and punches it in off the pad. DeBrusk's season has been a good one. It's been more direct, more hanging around the front of the net, and here he gets rewarded, and the Bruins escape a 40 minutes where they've probably been outplayed.
They've been outshot through 2 periods, 24-16 by the Florida Panthers. 3-1 Boston after 2. Here's Steve.
All right, Sean, thank you. The Bruins really coming after scoring that goal as well. 3-1 Bruins. Much more on that second period, and we'll preview the Kings and Oilers coming up from Edmonton. Straight ahead.
Discover Second Intermission Report.
We've been the best team in this league since the beginning of the year.
Boston wins! The Bruins are the new benchmark for regular season excellence. 65 wins, 135 points.
I mean, you can sing too.
Yeah, got it all going.
You went shopping at Lowe's?
No, it's Loewe.
Of course.
Let it roll up, Loewe.
Lumberyard.
I shop at Lowe's.
Loewe.
It's just the thing. Okay, let's move a little bit. It was off center for a second.
Ain't nothing new, still GQ.
With Mascelli, PK, Steve. So what do we make of that period? The Bruins are still being outshot by a healthy margin by the Florida Panthers, yet Boston enjoys a 2-goal lead.
I mean, Florida's been aggressive. They played a great, solid period. Then that weak goal, that Marchand goal, Linesland, kind of, would have been 1-1. Tkachuk scores right after, but you just see here, it's just a bit, flicks a little wrist shot. Somehow it goes off his glove in between his pad, but he's played great, but those are the ones that kill you.
Yeah. First Stanley Cup playoff game in the career of Alex Lyon.
Yeah, I think they're playing really well, to be honest with you. And this one, they seem to lose a little bit of concentration there. But Florida has been playing well. They're skating well, pressuring Boston all over the ice. But there's no panic in Boston. They've been in this position all year long. Teams have tried to knock them off, and they've withstood all the challenges, all year long. They don't feel uncomfortable. They don't seem to me anyways uncomfortable in this game whatsoever, even though they're being outshot. They just play their game, and sure enough, they capitalize on a couple opportunities, and here they're out getting played and they're up 3-1. It tells you all you need to know about this series.
It doesn't look like they're missing the Patrice Bergeron too much either, by the way, and so that's the benefit.
Well, they do miss him.
But I'm saying if you can get through this one and win the game.
Oh, of course, yeah. They got so much depth.
If it's an illness for Bergeron, you'd certainly expect him back in game 2.
Yeah, and Boston reminds me a lot of when I played in Nashville and we had the President's Trophy team. We didn't have to play a full 60 minutes high octane all the time. We just knew the key moments in the game when the momentum would shift that we would have to step on the pedal. Kind of like how the Edmonton Oilers did, back in the day with Mess and Gretz, you know what I mean? But you watched in that period, you could see the ice was tilting for Florida, and then just like that, Boston gets in on the forecheck a couple times. They move the puck around. Their D start to get active, and now it's a cluster in front of the net. They get a fortuitous bounce, and it's a 3-1 game, and that's what's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating right now for Florida, but they got to keep going.
The Marchand goal, his 50th. Only he and Cam Neely have ever scored 50 or more playoff goals as a member of the Boston Bruins. Impressive company.
How about this guy?
You mentioned the Oilers. Kings and Oilers. We'll preview it from Edmonton when we come back.
This second intermission report is presented by Discover, the official card of the NHL.
It's one nation under guns.
Welcome back to the Discover second intermission report.
If you look closely, you can see where Mark Messier grew up. Is that to the left? Oh. Edmonton, Alberta, getting ready to host the Kings and the Oilers on ESPN. John Buccigross with a preview.
Edmonton, Alberta. This city saw Gretzky and Messier win 4 cups in the 80s, and then Mess won a 5th. Now they have Draisaitl and McDavid, and they eye another Stanley Cup as they begin their series against the Los Angeles Kings, making their way into the arena this evening. See Anze Kopitar in the back. He and Philip Deneau provide a good 1-2 punch of defense against this mighty Oiler offense, the best in the NHL. And the Oilers, they are thinking Stanley Cup. Here's the bracket, 16 teams, all with 1 goal. It takes 16 wins to take Lord Stanley's Cup home. And the Oilers are one of those teams that many think can do it. With Kevin Weeks and Ryan Callahan, I'm John Buccigross. We'll be on ESPN 10 o'clock Eastern tonight for Game 1. Okay, it took Crosby 4 years, Weeksy, to win his first cup. Wayne 5, Mario 7. 8 years into Connor McDavid's career. Still a young man, but he's getting itchy.
He's getting real itchy, and I don't blame him for good reason, because he's the best athlete in the world, hands down, right now at this point in time. In terms of the gap over his competitors, he can do things nobody else can do, and we haven't seen done at the National Hockey League level. Buckle up. He has amazing footwork and tight, incredible skill set. He can beat players one-on-one. Oh, by the way, he scored the most goals in the league, and he skates and plays at a pace that's faster than we've ever seen.
153 points.
Yeah, absolutely, Weeksy. And the big thing, he had 14 points in 7 games last year against the LA Kings. It was his breakout playoff year. They went to the conference finals, obviously didn't end the way they wanted to against Colorado. But if you're this LA Kings team, it's how do you defend Connor McDavid? And I think the biggest thing is Philip Deneau and Andre Kopitar, your 1-2 punch. And especially when you're on the road like this, all of a sudden you don't have to worry about matchups. You can put either one of them out there against them and try to slow them down a little bit.
And this Kings team was really good. They had 47 wins and 104 points. That's almost the most they've ever had in franchise history. Game 1 will be rocking like every other NHL rink tonight. It's the Kings and Oilers. Game 1. We'll see you then.
All right, guys, looking forward to that one. Should be a blast. Meanwhile, in Raleigh, it's getting late. 2-1 Carolina. This is an Antti on Anders save. Right there.
Big save.
Raanta, the save on the captain of the Islanders. Good opportunity for the Isles right there to try and tie this game. Goaltending at both ends. And then Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders, keeping the deficit at 1.
How about Burns going to the net? He's been all over the ice tonight.
Yeah, he's had a great
game. He's been
game.
their best player tonight.
5.5 to play on ESPN 2. You can see the rest of that game. We're getting ready for the third period of the Bruins and the Panthers at 3-1. Florida have another pushback here?
Well, they're going to have to open up a little bit. The defensemen are going to have to start joining the play, be a little more aggressive. But, Boston just thrives on that. So you make a mistake, they're going to go the other way, probably an outnumbered situation, and put the game away.
Yeah, I think they got to be patient at the same time, but they definitely got to put a push on there. They're not going to win this game, this series, by being conservative.
Patience.
Ship it out to Boston.
Yeah. You're not giving Florida much of a chance. Apparently, you've been watching the Discover Second Intermission Report. Apparently.
The path to the Stanley Cup is a twisted 2-month gauntlet guided by a single hard truth. No one is ever fully prepared for what lies ahead. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs where anything is possible.
You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN, presented by Geico from TD Garden in Boston. Game 1 of this Eastern Conference first-round series. The Bruins leading the Panthers 3-1, despite the fact that they've been outshot 24-16 by Florida through the first 2 periods. Sean McDonough upstairs. Ray Ferraro between the benches. Ray, what are you looking for here in the third period?
I want to see if Florida can continue to forecheck and keep the game in the style that they want to play it. What I would worry from a Florida perspective is they played 2 pretty great periods against the Bruins team that's not clicking the way they normally do, and they're still down. I look for the Bruins to play a good period here.
They lead 3-1. Both teams are at full strength as the third period begins. There have been only 3 penalties in the game, 2 against Florida, and those were in the first 5 minutes. Forsling, a wrister, and it's snared by Ullmark.
Well, as Forsling zips that puck to the net, Linus Ullmark has been busy enough that most of the shots that the Panthers seem to shoot come from their blue line. That's now 21 out of the 48 shot attempts that they've had at the Boston net that have come from their blue liners. They're active, they're up in the play, and I think they've done a good job as a volume shooting team as they've been all year of getting the puck towards the Boston net. Kills Boston's transition game, makes them defend, and then you get to the point where you're just trying to clear it out of the zone.
Be the note about comeback wins for Florida, more than last year when they were a higher scoring team. Hard to come back against Boston. There's a bouncing puck, and Frederick couldn't get Wood on it. Now perhaps a 2-on-1. Verhaeghe with Duclair. Carter Verhaeghe, a backhand glove by Ullmark.
Dmitry Orlov's going to pinch in here. It's a bad pinch because he's flat-footed, and Duclair chips it to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe, the 42-goal scorer, has the pass taken away, well defended by Charlie McAvoy. There's no chance to get the puck to Duclair.
Face-off probability presented by NHL Edge IQ, powered by AWS. Abelzak is a good face-off man. Boston was second in the league in face-off percentage, behind only Dallas, where they're without their best Patrice Bergeron tonight. He missed 4 games the end of the regular season. Boston won all 4. Of course, they won their last 8 and 15 out of 16 as they come into the playoffs. Matthew Tkachuk has the Florida goal unassisted, 8th career playoff goal in 28 postseason games. Tonight, of course, is first for Florida. The Brad Marchand goal gave him a goal in 6 straight home playoff games for Boston. That's the franchise record. Forsling surveys the scene, sends it up to Lombard. Nice pass. Reinhart blocked down by Ullmark. Good chance for Reinhart.
Quietly,
31 goals in the regular season. Sorry, Ray.
Sorry, I was going to say, quietly, Ullmark's been really good tonight. He's had to be.
And he makes a good save there on the shot from the wall from Ekblad, who continues to fire from everywhere. Back of the line, Forsling. Blocked up high and out of the zone by Bertuzzi. More than 2 minutes gone by third period. They mentioned how hard it is to come back on Boston. They gave up 2 goals or fewer in 52 of their 82 regular season games. Read an article today, Scotty Bowman, greatest coach of all time, talking about how that was the most impressive thing about this Bruins team. They have great goaltending, and they defend well in front of Ullmark and Swayman. Here's Coyle, turned aside by Lyon, and a long carom to Verhaeghe. Coyle dumped it in. Hall in the forecheck. They double team behind the net, but Gudas played it away, and now here's Mahura. And he got rattled by Brandon Carlo. Lindholm almost lost the puck right in front of his own net. Lundell touched it ahead. Tkachuk taken to the boards by Marchand. Lundell from a tough angle. Long carom. Marchand after it. Has help coming. Montour back. Marchand. And a save made by Lyon.
Oh, he had to fight that one off by Marchand, who comes down the wing and tries to beat him on the short side. Now back to the second period. Marchand gave Boston a 2-0 lead on a goal where the play was dead. Lyon misplays it. It goes right off and through his glove to make it 2-0. And then a wild scramble. Bertuzzi, Zacha, and then finally Jake DeBrusk. As you see the puck just sitting there, it's not covered, and DeBrusk dives in and swats it into the net to give Boston a 3-1 second period lead.
The Marchand goal, 50th of his playoff career. He's one of 8 active players now with 50 or more career playoff goals. Bertuzzi behind the net, looking for Pasternak. He was covered, so it's Clifton. That's blocked up high. Here's Nick Cousins stepping into a drive, smothered by Ullmark, with Smith on the doorstep, and now he's tangling with Forbort. Bertuzzi was there as well. Coming up next, right here on ESPN, Game 1, the Kings and the Oilers, with John Buccigross, Kevin Weeks, and Ryan Callahan. Tremendous finish to the regular season for Edmonton, and a rematch of a playoff series from last year. Who do you like in that one, Ray?
I like the Oilers deep into the series. I like their additions that they made. They're bigger, they're more stout. It's not just McDavid and Draisaitl anymore with Nugent Hopkins, a great power play. Stu Skinner's given them excellent goaltending, but I think it's a hard series, but I've got Edmonton in that series. They come in, oh, what a wallop by Ekblad.
Knocked down Hathaway's right back on his feet. That one went up into the netting.
Kind of lost my train of thought. There's a couple of big boys are going to run it together here right in front of me. Hathaway, hello. That's timed perfectly. Hip and shoulder into the shoulder of Hathaway. A clean check the way it's supposed to be delivered.
By Aaron Ekblad, #1 overall pick in 2014. And the all-time leader in points now by a Panthers defenseman.
I was going to say before that hit that the Oilers are kind of in the same spot as Boston. Boston came in, wins 8 in a row, and the Oilers are 14-0-1. Like, eventually you're going to lose a game. You just hope it's not the first one. You'd like to get out of the gate feeling pretty good about yourself.
Here's the centering pass. Krejci tried to touch it off, and it's skated the other way by Montour. Into the right wing corner. Eric Stahl tried to get there, but Carlo was there first. Played ahead, and now Bertuzzi's pass blocked by Reinhart, or he might have had Pasternak on a one-on-one. Yeah, Edmonton, with the improved goaltending and the addition made to the defense at the trade deadline, they are as scary as anybody. Doesn't hurt to have Mr. McDavid.
Yeah, that's a pretty good place to start. And Draisaitl, another 50-goal year.
Lindholm played it across, and it's lofted out by Bertuzzi. Wants to get off, and he will change. Stahl's pass deflected by Krejci. Marchand, they're offside. Pasternak hadn't cleared the zone.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Geico is back and brackets are open. It's time to see if you can predict the playoffs. Create and join leagues to test your skills against friends and family. Sign up now at nhl.com/bracket.
Well, we have our first result of the playoff season. Carolina beat the Islanders 2-1. I thought, Ray, there might be 7 1-0 games in that series, but
well, I predicted 6 games and 18 total goals, so they're right on pace for it. There's going to be hard to score in that series.
DeBrusk took it away from Ekblad, led to a shot from a tough angle by Marchand. Puck came loose. Crowd didn't like the quick whistle. Lyon didn't have it squeezed, but they got the stoppage with 15:05 to go.
Bruins starting to put the heavy blanket on the Panthers here. Is really good forechecking by Jake DeBrusk to take it away from Ekblad. You see that puck's never covered or frozen, but the official's on the other side of the net. He can't see that. I mean, he's got to go on what he believes is going on there, and he draws or blows the whistle, and the puck ends up squirting away. But a little better forecheck for the Bruins, a little better positionally in the middle of the ice, and doing a nice job.
And a face-off win by Nosek led to a chance for Hathaway. 15 minutes to go. Here's a penalty. It'll be the first one since late in the first period. It's a holding call against Boston. And a wry smile from Nick Foligno.
It's the right hand that's around Matthew Tkachuk's waist, and you can call it holding or hooking, whatever you want, but Foligno knows that he's been burned there, and he'll go to the penalty box. And here's a big opportunity for the Panthers. Their second power play, as you mentioned, Sean, their first since the first period, and they could use one here.
They had one shot on the first power play.
Remember, Ekblad, one-timers, one of their key first options, and then you're going to have Tkachuk sitting on the blue paint for the next 2 minutes.
Florida had 12 power play goals from defensemen in the regular season. That led the league, 8 of them from Ekblad. Finished the year well on the power play. A power play goal 13 of the last 17 games. Barkov, nifty maneuvering through the traffic. They didn't have enough to get it back to Ekblad. It's sent down by Coyle. Under 14.5 to go.
Barkov's been really quiet for the Panthers. Their terrific center just hasn't been untracked at all tonight.
Boston allowed 1 power play goal in their last 11 regular season games. It was to Washington a week ago here. They've now killed off 43 of their last 44. Barkov dumped it in behind the net. Orlov there, and he sends it the length of the ice. Barkov goes off.
Yeah, Tkachuk and Montour stay. Everybody else changes.
Chuck's been on for 1:20.
He's not going anywhere.
No. DeBrusk able to send it along the boards and out. Orlov puts his hand in the air, and he'll be replaced.
And McAvoy took a heavy hit behind the net, slow to his feet, up into the play.
Verhaeghe off for Montour. He was surrounded by 3 Bruins. Verhaeghe turns around. It's high in the air. Losterinen found it, and then it's snapped down by McAvoy right on Lyon. Down to 18 seconds on the penalty to Nick Foligno. And 13-10 in the third period. Bruins leading 3-1. Second time tonight they've led by 2. Forsling stopped by Krejci, who has it back and almost sent Marchand away. Their all-time leader in shorthanded goals. No shots on goal on the power play for Florida. Bruins penalty killing continues to be magnificent. Krejci, left wing corner. Pastrnak looks around, doesn't see anybody in his uniform. Krejci sent it back, and hot past Lindholm, retrieved by Clifton. Has to wait for mates to clear, and that took too long. Played ahead by Gudas. 12:20 to go. Pasternak in pursuit of Stahl. Mark Stahl for Cousins. And Nick Cousins shot it in. He finished the regular season well. Had a goal in 2 of their last 5 games. Eric Stahl behind Lomberg. Tipped to the line but not out. Kept in by Ekblad. Seems like he's been out there all night long. Banked ahead by Pasternak. Bertuzzi looking for someone to help him. But they're in the midst of a line change.
Bertuzzi just took Nick Cousins' stick into the Bruins bench with him. Now he's trying to break it right beside me.
Smith in the forecheck. Reinhart gives Orlov a little bump.
Now the stick, just by the way, stick just got handed back to Cousins from one of the officials.
Here's Hall. He can move. Gudas trying to get back, and he did. Great play by Radko Gudas. Now Mahura was bothered from behind by Frederick. It got turned over to Hathaway. He couldn't get it away from Colin White. Hall got it back to the point. Orlov off for McAvoy. McAvoy a wrist shot. Got tipped by Hathaway. Orlov behind the net. Gudas fanned on it as Hathaway impeded it. Orlov, his drive blocked out of the zone by Giovanni Smith. Under 11 minutes to go. Bruins lead 3-1. They were 49-1-1 in the regular season when they led by multiple goals at any point in the game. Had a shootout loss to Los Angeles. Blew a 2-0 lead here against Edmonton in March. The only 2 times they went down to defeat when leading by 2 or more. Florida was offside with 10:42 to go. The Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN are brought to you by Geico. See how easy it is to bundle all your insurance needs. Ante Kopitar and the Los Angeles Kings taking on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 of that series coming up as soon as we're finished here. 55 career points in 37 playoff games for McDavid, who had an incredible regular season. The outright leader this season in goals, assists, and points, 64, 89. It adds up to 153. Florida now almost 6 minutes without a shot attempt as the Bruins have tightened up the defense. Verhaeghe sent it around, and Lindholm slid it out, took a hit from Barkov as he did. Stahl with fellow number 18 Zach on his heels, and Marchand couldn't keep it in.
Tyler Bertuzzi's got a couple assists his first playoff game, and he's going to get tied up here with Nick Cousins, so he just takes his stick into the bench. Cousins wants it back. Bertuzzi says you can't, and now I'm going to try and break it. Now he couldn't break it. It bounced up, so he's like, nah, I'll just leave it right here, and the linesman ends up coming over and shuttling it over to Nick Cousins on the Florida bench. What a nice addition he's been. Coming over right at the deadline after Taylor Hall got hurt, and they used that cap space. Cam Neely, their president, said, this is the year we're pushing it all into the middle.
Nosek shot. Smothered by Lyon, who got contacted after the whistle. Yeah, Bertuzzi's kind of in the Marchand mold, a little bit of an irritant, and Hathaway has some of that in him as well. Another one of the Bruins trade deadline pickups. Florida was the only team in the league that didn't make at least one trade at the deadline, hamstrung a little bit by salary cap problems.
Yeah, Bertuzzi's really fit in well here. They play him on the left, they play him on the right. They've moved him around lineups, and with Bergeron out and Zacha goes to the middle of the first line. This is where Zacha normally would play. Bertuzzi would be on a third line with Hall and Coyle, but man, he's just fit perfectly, and he kind of looks like a Bruin. You know, he's that irritant, as you mentioned. He's aggressive and just looks like he's in the right place.
Question is, will he be here for long? The reasons Detroit moved on from him. He's a free agent at the end of the year. They couldn't reach a contract agreement with him. More than midway through the third period now. And a 2-goal deficit for Florida against the team that was best in the league in goals against this season. By almost a half a goal per game. Krejci content just to put it in behind the net. Forsling forced back by Pastrnak. Ray, that's one of the things that impresses me watching Pastrnak so much this year. He's not just an offensive player. He works hard on the forward check. Responsible at the defensive end. Coil shot. Grasped by Lyon. .9:13 to go. Drew Doughty and the Kings hoping to take game 1 on the road in Edmonton coming up next.
The Bruins are the new benchmark for regular season excellence. 65 wins, 135 points.
Jim Montgomery was right. They were the best in the regular season all season long. Came out of the gates with 3 straight wins. Started 10-1. Won 14 home games in a row to begin the year. Set a pile of records on their way to the playoffs.
Hard to remember September when no McAvoy, no Grzelcyk in their lineup and no Marchand, and most of us were thinking, I wonder if they can hold on till November.
Duclair put it on net, and it's skated back the other way by Coyle. McAvoy charging to the net. Coyle shot it over the net. Might have been deflected. Under 9 minutes to go. The puck's out of the rink, and the face-off be to the left of Alex Lyon. In the East, Maple Leafs and Lightning tomorrow. Hurricanes won game 1 tonight against the Islanders 2-1. They lead that series 1-0. And the Devils and the Rangers get it going tomorrow night on TBS. Ray will be in Toronto tomorrow. 7 straight years in the playoffs. Didn't get out of the first round in the previous 6. Haven't won a playoff series since 2004. But you like their chances in that series?
I do. I think it's their best opportunity, kind of the best version of the Leafs that they've had over that stretch. But there's a lot of pressure on them now.
They were 13 points better than Tampa Bay in the regular season. They finished second behind Boston, the Atlantic, Tampa Bay third. But one thing we know for sure, that Tampa Bay group knows how to win playoff series to the Stanley Cup final each of the last 3 years.
Now that adds up to such a heavy load on their star players. Vasilevsky, and has started every one of those games for them. And can they find another gear? The season was a slog for them. Lots of injuries, lots of uneven play, and they're just not the team that they used to be. But doesn't mean they can't win.
Still plenty of talent there, including the goalie, as you mentioned, Forsling. Looking for a high tip from Tkachuk. Backhanded up by Orlov. Here's Zacha. Tried to center it for DeBrusk. It winds up with Marchand, and he didn't get enough on the pass, and Barkov intercepted. Barkov for Verhaeghe. Barkov tried to one-touch it. Verhaeghe did well to keep it in. Then he slowed down Marchand. DeBrusk tried to chip it in. Marchand to the right wing corner, and he'll go off with under 8 minutes to go. Rolling puck, Tkachuk. Nosek there for Boston. And now Clifton. Played college hockey at Quinnipiac, which won the national championship, the Frozen Four in Tampa not long ago. Hathaway. Lindholm didn't get good wood on it.
Florida having a really difficult time as the Bruins have locked down the middle of the ice here, is trying to push to get a goal to get within one, and they just can't get in the zone to get set.
Reinhart tried to center. Carlo blocked it. Turnaround attempt by Gudas. Cleared out by Boston. That'll be an icing call.
You would expect as the playoffs kick into gear, there'll be some physicality. The intensity of the series will start. This is early on. They take a couple of runs at Pastrnak. Connor Clifton's had a really aggressive game for the Bruins, but it's been both ways as Hathaway gives, Hathaway receives. And what's been a pretty even game has the Bruins not at full gear, still with a 2-goal lead.
Clean face-off win for Florida. Ekblad's flip got blocked. Forsling, that got deflected wide by Duclair in the high slot. Under 7 minutes to go. Florida with a season high 44 hits. Everybody dressed among the skaters has at least one hit. It's been a team effort tonight here in Boston.
You know, it's such a step for Florida this year as they transition to a new coach, transition to a new style of play. And it took, as you mentioned early, Sean, a long time for them to kind of find their gear. But they had to fight and claw. Last year, for 2 months, they prepped for the playoffs. This year, Sam Reinhart said we had to fight to get in, and there's a difference. They looked as ready as they could be in the first 40 in particular.
Yes. Paul Maurice said they've really been playing playoff hockey here since January because they had to start winning hockey games in bunches. They didn't win more than 3 in a row all season long until the 6-game winning streak at the very end of the year that got them into the playoff. Tkachuk off his stick toward the net, but skated away by Orlov. As Krejci and Pastrnak. Orlov to the net. Backhand stopped by Lyon. And it was knocked to the back of the cage by Ekblad. Pasternak's on it there. And now Krejci for Orlov. Florida scrambling a little bit in its own zone. And that harmless shot from Pastrnak, handled by Lyon. Down to 6:08 to go.
Alex Lyon's going to make a nice stop here on Dmitry Orlov. Lyon's had some really great moments. A couple of 2-on saves on 2-on-1 saves on Trent Frederick, one on Tyler Bertuzzi, but he had the second one that went through him. The third one he couldn't find. And in his first playoff game, sits on the tail end of a 3-1 disadvantage.
Forbert couldn't keep it in. The late offside taken down as the Panthers clear. Eric Stahl throws it toward the net. Might have grazed the pad of Ullmark. Backhanded in by Mark Stahl, and here's Coyle. Stahl will get there first. Lomberg back in New England. He played 2 years at the University of Maine in Orono. Here's Frederick with some room, but no teammates, and then he has it blocked by Forsling. Lomberg stepped around Carlo, dumps and chases, but Lindholm is there. Bouncing puck right out in front and played away by Zacha. Lundell the forechecker. Lindholm. And now Forsling in his own zone. Florida running out of time, down to 5 minutes to go. Final 5 minutes are brought to you by Geico. Ullmark for DeBrusk. DeBrusk has the most recent Boston goal after it seemed Florida had momentum on the goal by Tkachuk that made it 2-1. Pastrnak, Marchand, and DeBrusk for Boston. Here's Krejci with some speed. Here's Pastrnak on the forehand and just missed the right post. Gudas played it ahead. Losterinen with Barkov. Barkov and McAvoy bump. McAvoy had it slide off his stick right to Montour, and a stop by Ullmark up high. Gudas for Montour. Pressured by Pastrnak, who wants to go off. Big stop by Ullmark after some sloppy play by his teammates in front of him. Gudas checked from behind by Orlov. Nosek got it free for Hathaway. He has a man wide open. It's Coyle. A little bit too far ahead of him. Charlie Coyle circled the net. Spins back. Eric Stahl there. Centering pass in the skates of Orlov. Pestered by Verhaeghe. 3:45 to go. Orlov stopped short of a hit from Tkachuk. Carlo. Nosek covered the point for Orlov, who shoots, and it's blocked down by Lyon. Under 3.5 to go. Coyle centers. Nosek hindered by Montour. Hathaway for Coyle. Great work by this line for Boston. Centered and scored! It was Hathaway right at the edge of the crease, waving a stick around. Tough to tell from here if he got a piece of it, if it just went in cleanly from the corner. But it's Hathaway's goal. And a 4-1 Boston lead.
Paul Maurice just looked down the bench to the Panthers. He said, stay here, I'm going to challenge. At this point, it doesn't matter. You're down 3-1 with just a couple of minutes left. He's going to challenge this call to take the goal off the board. If he gets a penalty, he's not too worried about it. I don't think this is going to count. This is a good challenge. As Lyon has the puck in his glove, and right there, Hathaway whacks the back of his glove and it ends up in the net. Maurice is going to challenge, goalie interference challenge. And then he said to the official, and I want the time back on the clock. So he's very definitive. As you see him talking to the official, Jake Brink, about what he wants. He said the clock ran a couple of seconds after that play, after the connect by Hathaway, but this is definitely a goalie challenge.
And let's bring in Dave Jackson.
Florida is challenging the play for goaltender interference prior to the goal.
Long-time on-ice NHL referee, now doing a fantastic job with us as our rules expert. Jax, what do you think?
Well, I think this is a good challenge. You're down 2 goals. Like Ray said, you have nothing to lose, but the goaltender's fully in his crease. Puck is in his glove. Contact's made with his glove in the crease. Intentional, deliberate contact. I believe it's a great challenge, and I believe this goal is going to come off the board.
See right here, Lyon's got the puck in his glove, and Hathaway spins and knocks it out of his glove into the net. Now they'll take a look with those in Toronto. Every angle that you can possibly get a camera onto, we'll have a peek at this.
That's a live look at the Situation Room in Toronto. The decision about the goal seems pretty clear-cut, as you and Dave Jackson both described it. So perhaps they're also trying to figure out the time situation. If Paul Maurice was correct, that time came off the clock.
And Maurice felt that once the puck entered the net, that a couple of seconds had clicked away. But what's notable about that shift before the puck went in, the Coyle line had just ground that shift in the zone. They eventually are rewarded with this play. It's not going to count.
Ruling. On video. Review. On video review. The goaltender's glove got pushed by the stick, therefore this is goaltender interference. We have no goal.
Well, the Panthers, a glimmer of hope here on the challenge. An excellent shift. They were in that zone for a long period of time, and there's the play where Hathaway knocks it out of Alex Lyon's glove.
We'll step aside with 3:16 to go. Still a 2-goal lead for Boston. Teams taking the ice in Edmonton. Kings and Oilers getting ready for game 1 of their first round series in the Western Conference. You can catch that at the start on ESPNU. We'll get to that on ESPN as soon as we're finished here in Boston, where most of the fans are on their feet, enjoying the strains of the great dropkick Murphys.
The Panthers have their power play on the ice here, and I would suspect that it won't be too long before Alex Lyon comes to the bench.
Boston goal disallowed on the challenge by the Panthers. 3:10 to go. Lyon is starting to creep out of the net. And he wisely stayed because here comes Boston, although Marchand couldn't handle the pass. He goes into forecheck. And it's Ekblad. Here's Tkachuk. They have their big guns out there. Barkov's on the ice. Lions heading to the bench. They're struggling to get it in. Now they do. Extra attacker on. The net is empty for Florida. Marchand, that's going to be wide. And an icing call against Boston.
The Boston Bruins came into this series with the only team in history with a 40-win goalie in Linus Ullmark and a 20-plus win goalie in Jeremy Swayman. He's dealt with Florida traffic around the front of the net, in particular early in the game when the Panthers really carried much of the play. Ullmark has been terrific, quietly perhaps, but he made several key stops early. His usual steady play for the Bruins.
And if there's any lingering hangover from his less than stellar performance in the playoffs last year, there's no thought of that anymore. Played in 2 games against Carolina last year, gave up 4 goals in each. Jeremy Swayman went the rest of the way. Ullmark asked the other day if he was concerned about that. He said, my biggest concern on Monday is going to be getting to the Garden around the marathon barriers. 2:05 to go. Net still empty for Florida. Cross ice, deflected. In their overtime win against the Bruins on January 28th at Sunrise, they scored in goal with their net empty. Barkov with under 2 seconds to go to force overtime, and then they won it. But they need 2 of those now, and they're down to 1:40 to do it. Blasted in by Montour. Some of their top scorers go off, including Verhaeghe. Here's Barkov to Tkachuk. Barkov plays catch with Tkachuk. Back to Barkov. Blocked by Hathaway. Down on a knee. 1:20 to go. Boston leading 3-1. Montour for Lundell. Luostarinen for Tkachuk up high. 1:10 to go. Batted out of the air by Carlo. And he's able to pitch it out. 1 minute to go. Forbert. Behind the net, Tkachuk had trouble with a rolling puck. Lundell gave it back to him. Intercepted by Pastrnak. Knocked down by Forsling. Off a couple of sticks, then off a skate of Krejci. 40 seconds remaining. Fans on their feet here at the TD Garden. Forsling off the stick of Ullmark and behind the net. Tkachuk's been out there a long time. And he'll probably finish the game with under 30 seconds to go now. Desperation time for Florida. Tkachuk cross ice. Good chance for Lundell. Turned aside by Ullmark and went out of the rink. Pastrnak went sliding in front of that. Tkachuk's been on for almost 4 minutes.
A last-ditch effort to see if he can find a way to climb back into the game. The Panthers are going to call a timeout here. And as it's been for much of the regular season, the Bruins have an opponent at 2 goals or under 54 times in the regular season. First game of the playoffs, and they're sitting there again. From the goaltender on out, it was a little bit of a different Bruins performance early, but in the third period, that looked a lot like how the Boston Bruins play.
Without their captain, very much their team leader, Patrice Bergeron, who will likely play in Game 2 on Wednesday. They're about to win their 9th in a row dating back to the regular season, and their 16th in their last 17 games.
Will be interesting to see if this score holds as it does. Does Florida come back with Alex Lyon, or do they go to Sergei Bobrovsky in game 2?
Well, I wouldn't think they'd change. He did have the one shaky goal, but he made a number of stops on Boston chances that could have been goals.
No, it's why you get paid the big bucks sitting in that chair. I think it's a tough call. It's not as clear cut as that, for me anyway.
Final seconds ticking off. Tkachuk tried to center it, and that's it. They scored into the empty net well after the buzzer. Tkachuk being taken away from a couple of Bruins, threw a swipe at half the way that did not land. Final score, Boston 3, Florida 1. The first round of the playoffs continues on ESPN. With the Kings and the Oilers, for Ray Ferraro and Emily Kaplan, Dave Jackson, Sean McDonough. So long from Boston, now to Edmonton. With Kevin Weeks and Ryan Callahan, here's John Buccigross.
We welcome our ESPN audience who just watched the Boston Bruins take a 1-0 lead over the Florida Panthers. I'm John Buccigross with Kevin Weeks and Ryan Callahan. Game 1, Edmonton in Los Angeles. These two met last year in the opening round of the playoffs. Edmonton winning in 7 games.
Really good on-ice communication from the Kings so far. You can hear clear as day in the defensive zone, which is so important. Gets you on the same page as your teammates, helps you settle things down.
Here come the Kings now. One of the best defensive teams since they acquired Korpisalo and Gavrikov. And they go against the top offensive team. Again, these Oilers have been cooking since just after the new year. The league's best record since January the 11th. The Bruins, who we just saw win, the second best.
There's a look at Evander Kane, a physical specimen, 200-foot player. He delivers a check to Adrian Kempe. And Cal, you have to know this is going to be a physical series.
Absolutely is going to be, especially on the top guys, right? You want to hit McDavid as much as you can, Draisaitl as much as you can, and I just love Kane in this lineup. It makes such a dynamic difference for this Edmonton Oilers team. You can score.
Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports. Thousands of live events. ESPN Plus Originals. The exclusive home of the complete 30 for 30 library. Exclusive access. Top leagues and tournaments. And the biggest names in the game. ESPN Plus. Live sports.